We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on the Miami Dolphins defense versus the Los Angeles Rams. And honestly, this was far and away their best game of the season. They really just played an outstanding game, really carried this team to victory. Offense, I posted their video earlier, they made some clutch plays, but the defense was amazing from start to finish. Have to give them great credit. Weaver called a fantastic game. Like, in the defense, the players just executed. I think having Sealer back was huge because the Dolphins blitzed much less than they usually do. They only blitzed 4 times, which they've been blitzing at a much higher rate, and they created 17 pressures, which was their highest of the season, which is absolutely huge that they were able to do that. I think having Sealer back was amazing. Really being able to have pressure come from multiple different spots, because when Sealer was out, really the only person creating any sort of pressure was Chop, but then that wasn't super consistent. And then Chop Robinson had his best game of the season, played outstanding. And another thing they did differently is the Dolphins ran cover 2 at its highest rate yesterday. They ran about 30%, much higher than usual. I think that their highest was like 22 or something like that. So really, really impressed with what the Dolphins were able to mix up, just the execution, and then just not giving up any touchdowns throughout the game. Versus the Rams, who are a very good offense and were honestly playing at a very high level recently in recent weeks. The Dolphins just did a really good job getting after it, and then like even when they did bring the blitz, they were able to get him down. And I just thought the secondary did a good job passing things off, playing with good discipline, just really distributing routes very well at all parts of the field. So start breaking this down. First play of the game for the defense, Sealer just gets to come back and make a really special play. Just recognize the screen, like gets double teamed here, sees that this running back's leaking out, just how the offensive line are playing. He recognizes it, boom, adjusts, makes that tackle for loss. You know, Visor Sealer might just be different because he was out there man on a mission. Him and Calais have been a dominant duo. And if they can be a dominant duo and Chop's playing really well, if they get Chubb back, they could really be a force up front. And that would be like really help their chances for a playoff run, because I think it all starts up front for a lot of teams, specifically getting after the passer. And that's been the Dolphins' defense biggest problem over the past few weeks, is they really haven't been able to get after the passer consistently. Now I think the next step for them is getting after the passer, a little more of an athletic passer, because Stafford's more of a statuesque guy that's easier to get down. So hopefully next time they face an athletic one, they can make adjustments. But here, up front, good work. Like overall was decent enough versus the run. Didn't need to be like top tier or anything. I thought Brooks and Walker both had a very good game, played good versus the run. Nice. I thought Walker had a nice game in replacement of Long, probably his best game of the season. And then Deshaun Hand, Benito Jones, like they held their own. They were making plays. Here he is holding himself, 2-gapping. Everyone just like is in control of their gap in this situation. And the running back just has to continue to make a read. Brooks fills up into it. Calais makes a tackle, limiting that for a nice little gain. Not too much to say there. And then Chop Robinson, man. Can't be more impressed than he was with him in this game. He's been getting better slightly each week. I thought last week was his best game. This was his best game start to finish. Like, he was getting after it. Here on this pressure, they're trying to work a stunt. So, like, Calais Campbell is looping. Even before this, like, you miss it, but Calais was, like, communicating with Chop. Chop is crashing down hard to create space for Calais to loop around. But Chop is so explosive, so fast, that even when he's not really trying to create initial pressure, he's so quick to the inside here, he's able to just get upfield, get a free lane, and then get after Stafford for his second sack of the season. So, and then you get to see his new Chop celebration, which was great. So great work, good play call. They overload the right side here from Weaver. Chop gets a lot of space, because when you do this now, this right guard, instead of kind of, first step to the outside here, he's looking back to the other side, knowing Calais is probably going to work to him. So it gives Chop a lot of space to work to the inside, and he wins very, very quickly, because that he has just one of the best first steps you'll ever see. And then just making plays up front, getting hands up. I thought Calais and Sealer were all up in the business. They work more stunt up front. They replace each other right there. Get hands up, push the pocket back. Calais tips it. On the back end, they do a good job carrying. Everything's distributed pretty nicely. Walker peels off this, passes it off to the safety. I believe that's Holland. Comes off of it, and then gets the tipped interception into his hands. So nice little good work there from just everyone back on the defense there. I feel like just so much good work. Here's example of cover 2. I think this is a good job by Ramsey. Squeezing Nakua for long enough, just in case he sits into it, and then once he works past him, then close downhill on the flat route. It's your responsibility, and like just makes a great open field tackle to limit that for no gain. Everything is pretty much covered up on the back end. They're doing a good job passing things off, disrupting route timings, just mostly leaving check down options. And that's really where Stafford had to go for like 90% of the game, was take those checkdowns. And I thought the Dolphins did a pretty good job, much better job tackling. I think the Dolphins only had one total penalty the whole game. I honestly can't remember if it was on the offense or defense, but only one total penalty is huge too. So another big time play there. Here's Dolphins show up, big pressure look up front. They have 6 people on the line of scrimmage, 3 people on each side of the center. They end up bringing 5 with Chop dropping into coverage. So they drop like the guy who's been getting the most pressure. Work this around. Ogba gets kind of a free lane going there. It forces Stafford to step up into it. And Campbell just does a great job staying in his rush lane, knowing not to work past it. They've had a problem with QB stepping up in the pocket and escaping. Campbell's able to peel off and make a play. And then just on the back end, things are covered up pretty nicely here. They pass this stuff off. Dolphins were showing like a single high look pre-snap, and they rotated into cover 6. They go running quarters at the bottom here with cover 2 at the top. And everything is covered by the time Stafford's getting sacked. So really good route distribution. This was after the Tua first interception. They create the fumble here. Benito Jones, look at him disrupted in the backfield, creates that push, forces Kyron off his spot. Campbell stays disciplined, works off long, and then Walker gets that strip out right there on him, and Kyron loses the ball. So Walker was kind of responsible for 2 turnovers. I think the interception was more of, a Campbell play where Walker ended up being in the right spot. But good job from Walker here to force that fumble, and Kendall Fuller picks it up. Big time plays from the defense. Creating more turnovers, I think, is the biggest thing for this defense at this point. So getting 2 in this game was nice to see. But getting more pressure looks, they didn't blitz a lot, but when they did, it was in high pressure situations, forced Stafford to get the ball out quickly. And I just thought the secondary did a much better job covering things up. Here they go, cover 1. They still drop people out just in case underneath. Try to throw the quick out, but this is covered up. I think Code does a good job taking away Robinson on this corner route. He undercuts it perfectly, but they're going out quickly. Poyer would have been in the right spot to make that tackle. It misses the throw anyways, but everyone was in the right position to stop that play dead. I also thought Poyer probably had one of his games, so that Poyer had been struggling throughout the season, but he didn't make any like big mistakes and was in the right spot. Holland looked good in return. Just lots of things to like with what the defense was able to do. And then like right before half, Dolphins go cover 1 man here, and they run one robber. One robber, yeah, and then on the back end, they covers things up. This is covered nicely. Ramsey breaks on that. Fuller covers Cup underneath. Poyer was ready to take away that throw too. He's reading eyes. And then Kohu knows he has inside help, so he's playing low inside leverage, or low outside leverage, and then is just in the perfect position to take away that corner route, which Stafford is one of the best at throwing that in the league, so just really good job on the back end doing that stuff. And then Quinton Bell. Quinton Bell really hasn't made a play all season. Definitely his best game of the year. Played like, I think it was like 10 to 13 snaps-ish in the game. This was by far his best game of the season. Best rep of the season right here, specifically. Huge play to get this strip sack. Unfortunately, don't give it the recovery, and they still score a field goal after this. This was an amazing play. Great job, hitting that. Like, he hits the chop right there, and then the club on the outside. So he hits the chop, club, and then rip underneath. Just really beautiful, actually, to combine all these moves together. Like, it was all in one fluid motion. He hits like the little hop chop, and then club, and then rip, and then shows the athleticism and bend to get after the quarterback, and then plays through the hands. That's an outstanding rep. Like, if Quinton Bell is doing this stuff, that would be amazing to see him continue it. Like, he was a huge standout during camp, and then we didn't see anything from him from preseason, and then in this playing time in the regular season, we hadn't seen anything. That was by far his best rep of the season. So shout out Bell for really doing something there. It feels like, I think the biggest thing you say about this team is they haven't shown any quit. They've really been fighting across the board, offensive, defensively. Even though it felt like the season was potentially over, they've been fighting for weeks. Even though they've had losses, they're clearly fighting against good teams. The Bills, the Cardinals are both good teams. The Rams, a good team, and they went cross-country on a primetime game and made good plays. This drive, they did get a little lucky early on that the Rams had a bad snap. They tried to throw a screen to get back in field goal range. Good play by Cam Smith. Fuller unfortunately got hurt. Comes up, makes a play versus the screen in support there. They make a tackle, make it a long field goal. I can't remember if this is where they missed the field goal afterwards because of a false start, but it was somewhere around this time. So just a good job making those field goals as tough as possible. Bringing some blitzes, some pressures this time. Love getting Ramsey in the slot and bringing him off this blitz here. They go play action, gets in that free lane. Then you get the stunt work underneath from Chop and I believe Neil Farrell, and they're able to get pressure up the middle too. Just great work versus the Rams O-line is not the strongest unit, but they were getting starters back. Maybe they didn't have the chemistry back yet, but things were covered up pretty nicely. Rushed up front. He tries just hits the check down versus Nakua, but they get the hit on him. Just so many opportunities doing that. This time another sack. Just another stunt work where Brooks crashes down. Robinson loops through. He gets a free lane. You get Holland with a free lane off the edge. When, the tight end tries to get onto him, Holland gets a sack. Just great work. Just really good play calls from Weaver across the board. They're showing a lot of pressure and you got to see what they do here. They have 4 on this side of the line of scrimmage, so they're throwing 7 at the line, 4 to the center and the left here. So they slide the protection to the left, but 2 of them drop. Bowser drops, Walker drops, and then Sealer is the only one really on this side because Campbell then kind of knifes to the opposite side, which forces this right guard to also help out because he's helping out to this side as well. So they hard slide to this side, which gets Brooks, and then the tight end is only getting a chip and releasing, so it gets Holland free. It gets Brooks and Chop. One of them's going to get on a running back, and they're working a stunt, so it gets Chop a free lane. Brooks also beats the running back, so he's there as well, and they just have nowhere to work with. And you have Sealer and Campbell kind of taking on 4 people, so Sealer and Campbell get double teamed both as your big guys, but then it gets all your athletic guys either free or one-on-ones to work and get after Stafford immediately. So just an excellent game by Anthony Weaver. It's absolutely beautiful. And then when they got down in the red zone, they made good plays. Dolphins go cover 3 here. They matched stuff up. Probably could have taken a quick out, but he didn't. Would have been fine either way. Poyer kind of gets chipped, but he slows down that route. This stuff's matched up. Kohu's on 2-2. They have the option taken away there. Holland is looking to this side to find Kupp, working over the middle. They're communicating. He's helping out Cam Smith. Cam Smith is taking outside leverage. Kupp works the inside. Holland's ready to take that away. Just beautiful distribution of the routes on the back end. Everything is covered up pretty nicely. This is one where they probably got a little bit lucky. Like if Stafford sees Kyren and throws it right now, he has a touchdown. They kind of see it a little bit late. He's like the late option there. But they covered things up pretty nicely. Like Walker gets isolated on Kupp, which is a tough ask, but I think just good job initially because once they're reading Stafford's eyes. He was initially on Nakua, but they had this covered up pretty nicely. He comes off of it. Now Poyer looks to find across the field, sees Kupp would be there. So he would potentially help take that away if that's where the ball went, but it wasn't going there anyways. Kohu helps kind of slow down that stuff, distribute that. They're covering this up pretty nicely. Holland's in the right spot. Potentially could have had Kyren though, but just good job on the defense, making it as difficult as possible in these games. Clearly their best game of the game, just continuously forcing checkdowns, making Stafford go through these reads. Things are just taken away across the board. Ramsey in position, Brooks in position. Force a check down to the left side of the field. This is all taken away here on the back end. Not going to be open till late. And then it gets tipped by Sealer anyway, so it's knocked for an incompletion. And this is the last play to really look at. They stopped for it and forced them for another field goal. Dolphins go man-to-man across the board. They show pressure look. Drop Brooks into coverage. Drop Chop into coverage. Helps take away that quick little route here to 2-2. Ramsey gets one-on-one with Nakua, plays it perfectly. Cam Smith on Cooper Kupp in the slot. Nice to see Cam Smith lining up in the slot on Cooper Kupp and play that perfectly. Doesn't give up any separation on the slant there. Cam did get beat a couple times by Kupp, but it wasn't anything like... There was one that gave up a ton of separation. There was another big catch he had, but it was just a perfect throw and catch from Kupp. But Cam Smith came to the game and made some plays. Got beat a couple times. Still growing pains there, but I think that's to be expected, especially versus that level of receiver. But end of the day, you got to give the defense a ton of credit, especially a bounce back versus the Rams, because I would say the Rams offense is about on par with like the Bills and the Cardinals who they just played, and they've had bad games. And for them to respond like this, getting Sealer, Holland, Kohu back, clearly huge. I think Walker starting at linebacker was a difference as well. I think Chop just improving game by game was big. And then I thought it was just Weaver's best game, mixing things up coverage-wise, and giving up different stunts, pressure looks. Like different pressure looks, but still end up only having to bring 4, which was nice a lot of the time. So shout out to everyone, created some turnovers. Huge game, and Hopefully they can continue that versus the Raiders and Patriots, who are not the best competitions. The Raiders are really bad. Patriots will be a different game because it'll be two different starting quarterbacks compared to last time. Like Dolphins have Tua, obviously, and the Patriots will have May. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but across the board, defense played amazing. So if you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on. Peace.